edition, two middle-aged men in Cleveland, the ever-famous, the former pitcher, Oral Hershiser, and myself, Ken Dworsnick. Ted, episode 86.
It's Brian Brennan all
comes
day
tonight.
long.
Brian Brennan all day. Gary Collins, too. I forgot about Gary Collins.
Okay, yeah.
He's a good one. Dante Lavelli as well. Dante Lavelli was 86. So,
all right. You got a few.
Well, good stuff. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you, talked to you.
Yeah.
Actually, the break has probably been good for both of us, let's be honest. But we had something happen to us earlier this week, and I'll let you talk about it. When you sent this to me, I kind of fell off my chair to an extent, but unbelievable.
There's a website called Let's Go Meet the Neighbors. It is a Cleveland-based or Northeast Ohio-based website, and they blog every 10 days or so, a couple times a month, once a month, twice a month. And the latest blog is called 20 Local Podcasts to Listen If You Want to Meet More Clevelanders. Guess who number 7 is? You and me, Ken. Two middle-aged men in Cleveland.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's unreal. That's great stuff. That is really great stuff.
Special thanks to Brianna Zagatsky. Zgadinsky.
Get those Polish names right, please. Thank you.
Well, you want to help me out there? Did I nail it?
You said it right the last time.
Zagatsky. Zagatsky, yeah. So Zgadinsky, whatever. So yeah. Maybe we won't be having her in the podcast. I don't know, but she'd probably come on and talk to us. So it's an interesting website and lots of good stuff about Cleveland. And we're honored and humbled to have been selected to be a part of it.
100% correct. And I was interested. There's some other great podcasts on there. I recommend people check it out. There's some other great Cleveland podcasts to check out as well. And support the Cleveland people. That's I'm so glad we're part of that group, because when we started this way back when in 2019, episode 1, our plan was to kind of talk about positive things, to not necessarily talk about the pandemic at the time, but talk about positive things going on, and what a better way to do it and talk about positive things in Cleveland. And we've been doing that.
Yeah. Well, the website is letsgomeettheneighbors.com. All one big URL there. Let's go meettheneighbors.com. So yeah, check it out. Good stuff. Excellent.
Good work,
Very
sir.
exciting. Well, let's tell you what's coming up on this week's show, because we've got quite a bit. The author of 14 books is going to join us. She's 15-year-old Shanti Hershenson. She's 15 and she's written 14 books, Ken.
I don't know if I've read that many books.
Right. Cleveland historian John Grabowski also here. He's going to talk about a famous Cleveland landmark on Euclid Avenue. In its heyday, the Cleveland Athletic Club was known as one of the places the elite meet to eat. We also have good news for a woman who purchased a lottery ticket she initially didn't want. In Klopp's Klips, we have what may be the most bizarre excuse ever offered for getting out of jury duty. And of course, Ken has been out and about, and we will hear about some of the places he's visited.
Ted, time for our overachievers. A Colorado firefighter is a Guinness World Record holder. Dylan Moralgia lifted a 193.2 pound Atlas stone 194 times in 1 hour. Let me read that again. Dylan lifted a 193 pound Atlas stone 194 times in 1 hour.
Do you know how many times I could do that in 1 hour? 0.
As much as I could.
Yes.
We're not doing it. He said he was flipping through the Guinness Book of World Records. That's actually something I do quite often. It's just see what's in there.
Yeah.
And he spotted a weightlifting challenge he couldn't resist, lifting the 193.2 pound Atlas stone 194 times in an hour is a grand total of 37,470 pounds.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
He beat the previous record by about 8,000 pounds and is now working toward breaking another Guinness World Record involving Turkish kettlebells. Maybe that's
Okay.
something we can go for.
Yeah. I can play some bells. I can't really, well, yeah.
Silver bells, right? Is that what you do? You play silver bells?
Silver bells.
You can sing it.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to our overachiever, Dylan Margalia, for lifting, God bless him, 193-pound Atlas 194 times. That's an overachiever.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Another edition of Cleveland Sports History. That means Dusty Sloan is joining us. And Dusty, I know being a huge Browns fan, this is an interesting one. April 20th, 1945. I didn't think you remembered, but I imagine you did some research for us. The Cleveland Browns organization formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. Dusty, please update me. I don't know much. Tell me about Arthur Mickey McBride and how he formed the organization called the Cleveland Browns.
Well, the interesting thing about Mickey McBride is we talked a couple of weeks ago about Art Modell and how he's a businessman. Well, Mickey McBride also was a businessman, real estate and cabs and things like that back in the 30s and 40s. And what happened was McBride founded the Browns and helped organize the old AAFC after he unsuccessfully tried to purchase the Cleveland Rams. And then we all know the Cleveland Rams moved out to Los Angeles, which created the hole for the Cleveland Browns in the AAFC. Then McBride organized, promotes the team, hires Paul Brown, gets great players, and the rest they say is history.
Interesting. I think it's somewhat unfortunate, given the way history has gone, that the guy's first name is Arthur, given other Cleveland Browns owners, but nonetheless, now
It's a prerequisite, isn't it?
well, I guess. Now, the Cleveland Browns organization formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. Do you know, was the team, when organized, did they start off with the name Browns, or did that come later? Were they just a Cleveland football organization that needed a nickname?
I'm not really sure of the timeline on all that, but obviously we know the Browns named after Paul Brown. So I don't really know, was Brown on the same time that Mickey McBride was? But here's an interesting fact. Here's something else that Mickey McBride did. We all know that we have practice squads now in the NFL. Well, back in the day, they were called taxi squads.
Sure.
And Mickey McBride was the one who named it that because he had a cab company.
Oh,
So
How
that's
about that?
how that became to be. So
I figured it was because these guys didn't make enough and they had to have other jobs, like driving a taxi. I don't know. But interesting. Okay.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Very interesting
How
stuff.
about that?
Well, Dusty, I mean, have you, obviously through your research, did you find out anything else about Arthur Mickey McBride or anything else that he's done besides with the Browns organization? Or, do we know what he did beyond that?
I did.
Oh, boy.
Apparently, in 1951, he testified before the Senate Crime Investigating Committee, which questioned his Continental Press Service, which was a nationwide distributor of racing news. And he apparently also had alleged ties to organized crime. So
Okay.
we just can't get away from owners that are a little bit questionable, let's say.
Oh, we'll
He was
just,
tied to the mafia?
we'll just whitewash that one away.
Not sure about that one. He was never charged. So
Okay. Dusty, I think there's a guy outside your door that's talking about cement shoes right now.
there might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
Okay.
Oh my. Well,
All
Dusty, another interesting lesson. Certainly this one about the gentleman that helped form the Cleveland Browns organization, Arthur Mickey McBride from 1945. Thank you very much, Dusty.
Thanks, guys.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Misspeak of the week now. President Joe Biden at it again, talking about the price of gasoline and the advantages of renewable energy. He made an interesting claim about the amount of money families can save if they use renewable energy.
If your home is powered by safer, cheaper, cleaner electricity like solar or heat pumps, you can save about $500 a month on average.
All right, let's hear that one more time, just so we're clear.
If your
Okay.
home is powered by safer, cheaper, cleaner electricity like solar or heat pumps, you can save about $500 a month on average.
All right, now Ken, how much is your energy bill each month?
I'm going to say probably around $100, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Well, the average bill isn't anywhere close to $500 a month, so I don't know how we'd save that much. The White House did later clarify that the president meant to say the savings could be about $500 a year.
Oh, okay.
A year. A true miss there. Yeah. A year, not a month. It's a little technicality there.
That's all right. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
That's the misspeak of the week.
Well, it's a time for us to take a look at our Cleveland calendar, and that, of course, means we bring in Jennifer Brazovich. And Jennifer, big week for Cleveland as we have a new team that is having a new home opener coming up at the end of the week. That, of course, is the Cleveland Guardians. Talk about the festivities, the excitement, and, of course, you're going to bring us good weather. Is that correct? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, I wish that was in my job description, the bringer of good weather. Unfortunately, it is not. But so far, I'm keeping an eye on the forecast because I have tickets for Friday night. So it looks like it could be a little breezy, but I don't see any rain yet right now, knock on wood. So it should be a great night for the Cleveland Guardians to kick off their inaugural season. They'll be welcoming back local baseball fans to Progressive Field this Friday for the home opener. Of course, they've been on the road already this season with mixed results so far this year, but hopefully we'll bring home a win on Friday night for that game. 20 games on the schedule between Friday and the end of May at Progressive Field. So plenty of chances to catch the Guardians in action this spring. All of the excitement starts early in the day. I mean, we're used to having day games here for the home opener, but it's going to be pretty exciting to have it at night this year. Gates open at 5:30, I believe, but I'm sure if you come downtown before that, you'll see plenty of excitement happening in and around Progressive Field. Tom Hanks is throwing out the first pitch. I lobbied for you guys to throw out the first pitch, but my application got denied. So unfortunately, we'll just have to settle for Tom Hanks instead.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yep. So that's Friday. And then if you're in the baseball spirit this weekend, I got to tell you guys, head over to the Huff neighborhood and check out League Park. I mentioned this because I was just there last week and I got to see it firsthand last week. It's just so cool. It was the site of the 1920 World Series. That's where the Indians won their first ever championship. And over in the renovated ticket office, they have the Baseball Heritage Museum. They've got a lot of really cool stuff on display that, as we're welcoming baseball season back here to Cleveland, some really cool stuff to see. It's open Thursdays through Sundays, definitely worth a visit. Free admission. They do ask for a donation just to kind of cover the cost of keeping it in operation. But yeah, if you're going to the game Friday or if you're watching it at home and then you're in the baseball spirit throughout the rest of the weekend, that's a really cool place to stop as well.
What besides the home opener, once we get past Friday and we've got, some baseball underneath our belts, what are some other fun things? Can you do something? Can the weather break here, please?
I hope so. And, spring's in the air. I'm hoping that we'll see the spring weather start to stick around. As we're talking today, it's beautiful out. Throughout the week, I think we're going to be up and down. So who knows? But, spring is a great time to get out, just rediscover what Cleveland has to offer. Of course, those April showers bring May flowers, as we've heard. We've had plenty of April showers already this month. But Lakeview Cemetery's Daffodil Hill is about to be in full bloom. There's 3 acres of flowers over there. So a great way to get out and enjoy the warm weather once we have it and once it sticks around. University Circle over at the Wade Oval will be in full bloom soon. They've got cherry trees over there. They've got other blooming trees. And of course, on those rainy days, the Cleveland Botanical Garden is also a good chance to kind of take in the spring blooms because they do have indoor locations. And they're also going to have 600 newly emerged butterflies flying about the Costa Rica biome in one of their glass houses. So even on those rainy days, it's a good chance to get out and experience the spring weather here in Cleveland. We're coming up on Easter, big holiday on Sunday, even bigger holiday on Monday here in Cleveland. Do you guys know what it is?
Dingus Day.
Dingus Day. The Polish host gets it.
Yes.
Dingus Day on Monday, a Polish tradition takes place every year the Monday after Easter. It's definitely one of our more unique cultural celebrations here in Cleveland, but it's going to be a really good time. This year's celebration is over at Gordon Green. And if you've never learned to polka, now is your chance. Get out there on Monday. They'll be happy to teach you. Plenty of tasty Polish food, all of the pierogi and kielbasa you could possibly imagine, just in case you don't get your fill during Easter dinner on Sunday. Live entertainment all day. It all culminates with the crowning of Miss Dingus Day 2022 in the evening. This is, a very coveted title here in Cleveland.
Are you
get a stash.
This Dingus Day?
I'm not this year.
Okay.
I'm going to study up. I'm hoping to submit for next year.
Okay. All
Good
right.
luck. Yes.
just for the entertainment factor of it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get a sash, you get a sausage crown, you get to ride on a float that has pierogies on it.
Yep.
You get to carry the title of Miss Dingus Day all year round. Winners have to wow the crowd with their true Polish spirit. So it's things like showing off your polka skills, reciting a haiku about Dingus Day, eating 5 pierogi as fast as possible. That's where I think I can really dominate next year if I'm entered into the competition. I really think that's where my sweet spot is. So that should be pretty fun on Monday. Get over there, after Easter is over, we celebrate Dingus Day here in Cleveland. It is one of the more unique traditions we have, but it's sure to be a good time.
Oh, absolutely. So when I recover from Dingus Day, listening to all the wonderful things, actually DJ Kishka was on our podcast one time, who actually is one of the people that got.
He's like one of the stars of Dingus Day.
Yeah, he was the originator.
Yeah.
Once I've recovered from Dingus Day, what are some of the other things, maybe the next couple of weeks, that we can really highlight and look for?
Yeah, tons of festivals coming back on the calendar this year. A lot of spring events happening. Cleveland Asian Festival will be happening next month. That's in the Asiatown neighborhood, May 21st and 22nd this year. So lots of celebrating of the Asian culture over there. Some delicious food, some cultural performances, plenty of family-friendly activities. There's a dance competition and a Colors of Asia fashion show for that this year as well. Memorial Day weekend, we have Tremont Greek Fest. So again, if you're looking for some cultural food, that's the place to be. The food is the star over there. All of the baklava you could possibly handle over there. And some Greek traditions happening there Memorial Day weekend. And then coming up this summer, we've got Pride in the CLE is returning to an in-person festival for the first time since 2019. That's going to be June 4th on Malls B and C. So it's going to be a really big celebration this year. Also on Malls C, Juneteenth Freedom Festival returns this year in June. That's going to be June 18th this year. And that's a celebration of the emancipation of slaves here in America. And then a little later in June, Tri-C Jazz Fest will be back at Playhouse Square for an in-person celebration this year. So plenty of stuff to do over the next few weeks. Plenty of cultural food to experience. I will make a shameless plug that Destination Cleveland just launched our international restaurant passport. If you go to thisiscleveland.com/passports, that's another great way to experience the cultural cuisine here in Cleveland. A lot of really cool stuff happening, and I think it's going to be an exciting spring and summer here in Cleveland.
Jen, I just had a doctor's appointment and my doctor told me my cholesterol was 268. You're not helping. This is not gonna bring that down.
That's your
I'm sorry.
responsibility.
I'm sorry, Ted's doctor. I take no responsibility. The views expressed here do not represent those of Ted's medical professionals.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jen, thank you so much for the time. One more time, if people want to find out about these events or anything else going on in Cleveland, where do they go to find this out?
Head to thisiscleveland.com. There's an events page there. There's a bunch of information about different restaurants and businesses here in Cleveland, and you can learn about all the different neighborhoods here in Cleveland too. So if you're looking to explore Cleveland this spring, summer, see something that you haven't seen before, that's the place to be.
Jen, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Ted, we were out and about once again. Basically spending money in the Cleveland area. That's maybe what we should call this. Just spending money in the Cleveland area.
Spending money in Cleveland with Ken Dworsney.
See, we had a lot of different places we went to, a lot of the same places, but I'll go with a couple highlights.
Oh, please.
First of all, I went to Gormley's. Are you familiar with Gormley's? It's a pub in Rocky River on Center Ridge. Long story short, I struggle sometimes. I think you know this. I was April Fooled. So on the Gormley's homepage, they said that they had a light creamy Guinness Well, I was one of many different people that was looking to experience the light, creamy Guinness. And people actually waited in line for almost 2 hours to get this. And of course, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I did have another wonderful Guinness. But during my time there, obviously, I was not alone. Anyone was joining me. We sat at the bar, and I had another type of Guinness, which was really good. And I noticed the gentleman next to me looked really familiar. That gentleman's name was Pat Shepard. He was performing there that night. And funny story is that as I'm sitting next to Pat, he's asking how the podcast is going. I said, it's actually going very well. He goes, oh, okay. Well, he goes, I actually know Ted because his parents and him, along with my family, lived on the same street
How
in
about
Westlake.
that? How about
Isn't
that?
that hilarious? Classic.
Yep.
No idea. I've known Pat from high school, and we were in the same class, and he was a wrestler. Actually, his cousin Kevin Berry was there as well, but I never knew that. I thought that was a great story.
Grew up in the musical streets in the Westlake area.
So he says hello, by the way.
Oh,
He
well,
listens. We
hello.
do need to have
Hello,
him on at
Pat.
some point in time.
Hope you're doing well. Yeah.
We got to get him on. We got to have him
Okay.
talk about the music that he plays. So
Okay.
his favorite song, this favorite song that I asked him to play that day, My
Yeah.
Dinghy. There you go. Good stuff.
My dinghy.
A few other places we went to PRW. Have you been to PRW?
Long time ago.
Yes, very nice place. I had a gift card from a very nice friend that gave that to me. The food there is good. I will tell you this, the view to see downtown is awesome.
Fabulous.
I mean,
Yep.
you can't beat that. That was really cool.
Yep.
Then I went back and I just mentioned this, went to Forest City Brewery, went on a Friday night, and they have the saddest happy hour in Cleveland on Friday nights. And the
Oh,
reason
because
that
it's the
is
end of the week.
because, well, that and also because Justin Gorski, DJ Kishka, who was on our show,
Yeah.
has this group called Big Hoke, and they play there. Let me tell you, if you've never gone to this, you have to do it. It is outstanding. Justin's very talented. At the end of the night, I had an opportunity to talk to him a little bit. He just takes requests from people in the crowd. What do you want to hear? Billy Joel. So he starts playing Billy Joel. Elton John. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
And then this is the best part. He played Hey Jude from the Beatles on his accordion. I
my.
can't make this up. It's pretty impressive. So
Wow.
those are the highlights of my being out and about. Ted, I must say, you contacted me and
Yes,
you
I
said you
did.
wanted to be part of this segment.
I did.
You were also with the family out and about. I want to
Out
hear
and
about
about.
this.
Yes. Because God knows I'll never be out and about on my own, but or at least not for another 10 or 15 years. But nonetheless, we went to a Cleveland Charge game. That's the
Oh,
NBA,
okay.
what is it? G League, I think.
Yes.
Or B League, whatever it is.
Yes.
Minor league for the Cavs. They play over at the Wolstein Center. And they had a decent crowd, and it was an entertaining game. They struggle. The team does. They're not
Okay.
the best, but and they have a guy on the team who's 7'5".
Taco.
Yeah, Taco. He didn't play because I think he's getting called up to the Cavs for the playoff run.
Yeah, they got a lot of players that go up and down. So,
Yeah. So, but an interesting, it was fun. Kids had a good time, got to make signs and got bobbleheads and things like that. So, yeah. So we were out and about at the Cleveland Charge game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Ted, we'll just continue to be out and about. Maybe at one point in time, we could be out and about together. I think that would be very enjoyable for both of us. Once again, we're just supporting Cleveland and spending money.
Time for another Cleveland history lesson, and our Cleveland historian, John Grabowski, is back with us. John, today we're going to talk about a landmark that unfortunately has gone away. Used to be on Euclid Avenue there, the Cleveland Athletic Club. What a place that used to be, and just went out kind of was a victim of the expansion of Euclid Avenue and the RTA line. But in its day, what a place that was.
Yeah, it was, and that goes into, as I usually say, it goes into a really long history, because in the late 19th century, about the 1880s or so, a lot of major cities created athletic clubs. And they were very, very exclusive places. And, one of the ones that you might know is the New York Athletic Club.
Sure.
And New York Athletic Club used to run the biggest amateur track meet in the nation for many years, the NYAC. There's a long story there, but athletics was becoming fashionable, something that men wanted to do. And Cleveland got on the bandwagon really. It's in 1886, actually 1886, there was an earlier athletic club. There's no direct descent that was started in Cleveland. It was also on Euclid Avenue. And then by around 1891, it moved to a new clubhouse and had about 500 members by 1892. So there was an athletic club before this, but the one that we're looking at now was established by some very important people in Cleveland. Charles Otis, William Baker, and Albert H. Baker. And the Bakers are part of Baker Lawn Car Company. And what they did then is exactly, they decided to build a new athletic club on Euclid Avenue. Now, that area at Euclid, just to the east of 9th Street, where the club is on the south side of the street, that used to be part of the mansions on Euclid Avenue, but that was being developed into Playhouse Square. And in 1911, this building was finished, 15 stories.
Wow.
And they had a 3-story gymnasium near the top. It had a swimming pool, had a restaurant, and these clubs were not just physical workout clubs. These were a place where guys went to make business connections, to schmooze. They had parties, they had events there. The club was like almost all the others, almost all white. Women would come in periodically. There's a story that Chicago had a fabulous women's athletic club, one of the most elegant buildings in Chicago, but that's another story. Let's get back to Cleveland. So this was a place, on that upper Euclid Avenue area that was growing up, and it had overnight rooms for people staying there. So it became a site for parties, events. The New Year's parties there were legendary. The events was one of the places that you stopped into after the annual St. Patrick's Day parade, where you could continue your libation if you wanted to at there. But by the 1960s and 70s, particularly the 70s and 80s, that area of downtown was beginning to go to seed a bit. It was, the population was dropping in downtown Cleveland, but the club soldiered on. It actually didn't close, I think, until 2008. They literally ended up being bankrupt, and they were putting improvements into the club all the way into 2008. I was never in there, but the stories I've read about it just say it's a fabulous place. Dark woodwork, the swimming pool, which is still there, but it's been made shallower. It used to be a 9-foot deep pool. Swimming pool entertained a guy named Johnny Weissmuller in 1922. and Weissmuller set a record for the backstroke in that pool. So it's, so if you were anybody, a business person in Cleveland, you had a guest coming in, you take them to the athletic club. It was a very manly atmosphere. At one point, according to one story I read, there was a private dining bar where the guys would dine on natural. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So there are all sorts of stories there, and I guess what it is now. The building has become the Athleton. I think that's the name of it. It's a new apartment building, and that 3-story gymnasium at the top of the club is a 3-story high work area, just wide open with some apartments there. The pool, as I mentioned, is still there, but it's doing what a lot of other older buildings in Cleveland are doing. It's being rehabbed and turned into a new residence area. And it's pretty remarkable because when the club closed in 2008, if I have that date right, yes, I do. Essentially, it basically, they left everything on the table. It was never cleaned up. There was nobody doing any maintenance. So by the time it was taken over for rehab, the roof had been leaking. It needed a lot of work. The terracotta front needed a lot of work. The building was designed by Dyer, who was the designer, very noted architect in Cleveland. He did the Cleveland City Hall, Milton Dyer. So yeah, there's a lot of links to Cleveland, but it's a creature of the 1910s and 1920s. And I've said before, those were the decades when this city was really, really booming.
Sure. John, we have a lot of younger people that certainly listen to our podcast, and obviously I'll ask this question on behalf of them. So when you hear the term Cleveland Athletic Club, you're thinking of a workout facility, and you mentioned about a swimming pool and also like a gymnasium, but that wasn't the main gig there. That was more of a social club, correct? That's the type of club you would go to, as you mentioned, going out to dinner and things like that. The question that I have, was this open to men and women? I mean, could women be members of this, or was it just men and they could have women join them for certainly all the different parties?
It was just men, and they could have women join.
Okay.
And I think there were, first women member, I came to some place, walked into this male bastion. They were trying, as membership went down, the club was making efforts to broaden its membership, was even advertising memberships for students at CSU across the street. So it was making a real effort in the 1980s, 1990s, and into the 2000s to try to boost the membership. And supposedly till the day it closed, they were still investing in the club. They just happened to have emptied the till. And that was about it.
Well, it certainly was a place where the elite met to eat, so to speak. Cleveland Athletic Club, quite a history. Unfortunately, not it's still kind of there, but under a different name. And but a lot of good history there, and a lot of good information from you, John. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny. I'm teaching a sports history class this year, so we've been talking about private athletic clubs, and this one fits into it.
Very good. Well, thank you for the history lesson. I hope we can pass when the grades come out.
Okay, great. Thanks.
The most trusted name in journalism, Klopp's Klips.
Here's the news. You really need this news, Ken, so pay attention now.
I will.
That slap that Will Smith hit Chris Rock with at the Oscars, it continues to hog headlines, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Several tattoo artists around the country say that people are now coming in to get that moment immortalized on their bodies. One tattoo artist from the New York area was at a British radio station for a segment on the weirdest thing he's been asked to do at work. He thought the idea was hilarious. You going to get a tattoo of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock?
Yeah, I'm going to get that on my lower back. That's where I'd get it.
Oh,
I think
build lower
perfect.
back tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I like that. That's good. Okay. In Florida, Broward County Circuit Judge Elizabeth Shearer was trying to seat 12 jurors last week when one juror offered an interesting reason why she should be excused.
So you said that there's dates in July that you're not available. What are those dates?
July 7th, July 4th, which is closed, and July 18th. But then again, I need to figure out something. I have my sugar daddy that I see every day.
I'm sorry?
My sugar daddy.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but
Well, I'm married and I have my sugar daddy.
Okay.
And I see him every day.
all right, ma'am, we'll come back.
Come on.
Can't serve on the jury. I've got my sugar daddy.
Oh, man. Wow. Whew.
Well, Ken, honesty is the best policy.
Absolutely. You couldn't make that up.
She is married but has commitments with her sugar daddy. The woman ultimately, by the way, was dismissed from being a potential juror.
Oh, man.
The Atlanta Braves have a special burger on sale at their ballpark to celebrate their 2021 World Series title. The burger includes lots of fancy ingredients like Wagyu beef, pan-fried eggs, foie gras, lobster tail, Tillamook cheddar cheese, truffle aioli, and an heirloom tomato.
Wow.
Comes with a side of Parmesan waffle fries and a replica of the 2021 World Series ring. The cost, $151.
Oh.
Now that's referring to the 151 years that the Braves have been around. However, Ken, that is not the most expensive burger in the park. That title goes to the version of the burger that replaces the replica ring with a limited edition championship ring. That burger and the ring can be yours for just 33 grand.
Oh, let's sign up. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Boom. Life savings. Let's put it towards the ring.
I'm already on GoFundMe to get that.
Oh, that's right. We've
Yeah.
GoFunded a lot for you, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
right.
Just transfer it over. That's
Sure.
good.
Staying in baseball, Friday was National Beer Day, which I'm sure you're aware of, Ken.
I partake.
Yeah. The idea behind it is to celebrate the day a law went into effect in 1933 that allowed the brewing and sale of beer up to 4% alcohol by volume. Friday was also opening day for the Arizona Diamondbacks hosting the San Diego Padres. The D-backs trailed 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 men out. With 2 men on, when rookie Seth Beer, that's his name, Seth Beer, came to the plate.
Seth Beer, fly ball, right field. It's National Beer Day. Good night, everybody. Oh, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Seth Beer wins it on opening night.
That audio from Bally Sports, the guy named Beer hits the walk-off game-winning 3-run homer on National Beer Day.
So who's sponsoring him? I mean, who's jumping on board with this? Miller Lite,
think anybody.
Coors Light, Bud Light. Somebody's got to jump on board with this. I mean, that is just what a story that is. You can make that up.
I don't know, but I'll drink to that.
I agree.
Friday was also Dog Farting Awareness Day.
I hope they didn't combine these events.
It's annually celebrated on April 8th.
What did you say?
Well, what? It's celebrated annually on April 8th.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
I thought
I'm
I
sorry. Keep continuing.
misspoke there. Okay.
Yes.
The highlights include what a canine's gas-passing habits say about the animal's health. Dog Farting Awareness Day began on social media in 2014 with places like the Animal Rescue League of Iowa and the Heritage Humane Society in Virginia spreading the word. Hopefully that's all they spread with memes and hashtags. The idea is to share tips about canine digestive health. So
Okay.
you've got the Roo there. Did you celebrate Dog Farting Awareness Day with Roo on Friday?
Once again, I can't combine all these events together. I was too busy celebrating National Beer Day, so
Sure.
we opted not to.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll pass along. We'll not pass anything else as we close up this week's collection of Klopp's Klips.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Our guest today is an author. She has written 15 books. That alone is an achievement, but when you consider she's only 14 years old, she's written more than one book for every year she's been alive. So let's talk with Shanti Hershenson. Shanti, thanks for your time. So how did you get involved in becoming an author?
So being an author was always something I really wanted to do. However, I kind of realized it was something I could actually do like now instead of as an adult when I was in the 6th grade. And it was actually an accident. I didn't actually mean to publish a book. What had happened, I'd written this, I don't want to say book with my friend. It was a novella. I guess it is a book. And I wrote it with my friend, and we just really wanted to get it printed. And in doing so, I went online and researched all these different options, all these different printers, and it ended up uploading the book to something called KDP. Little did I know as I was doing it, that was to publish it, that was to self-publish it. And by the end, I had realized it, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And I did. And that book didn't sell much, sold probably like 10 books. But it kind of paved the way and gave me more opportunities later on to then publish a bunch of books. I've currently published 9 books, and I'm going to publish my 10th very, very soon. It's already up for pre-order. And I think that was the beginning. However, all these new books are so much better.
So you said you've published 10 books. Are there 5 that have not been published? Is that where we get to 15?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And
actually,
am I correct? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's technically 16. I have
Oh.
one more book that I want to finalize it a little more before I actually count it, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up publishing it. So I technically haven't added it to my backlog yet. Yeah.
All right. So you said you accidentally or just with a friend decided to write this book, and then you accidentally publish it.
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that-
much.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah.
wish I could accidentally do things like that. So what's the subject matter of these books? Are these works of fiction? Are they mystery? Are they a bunch of different things? Tell us about the books.
So I'd say the majority of my novels, at least, are written in the dystopian genre. I will try to write other genres, and somehow I'll put a sci-fi spin on it, and it'll just end up being this dystopian story. Unlocked, the first ever novel I wrote, which was in the middle of the pandemic, is an alien invasion story. It actually takes place 30 years after an alien invasion. And that was the first dystopian novel I ever wrote, and the first novel I ever wrote. For context, I thought it was just gonna be like a 20,000 word novella, which I've done, except it kind of ended up being 800 pages long, the first draft, and like 250,000 words. But that's too long for a book, and that's not really publishable and readable. So what I ended up doing actually was I split it into 3 books. Now it's a trilogy. The first book, which is a lot shorter, was published in August, and the other 2, they're actually significantly longer than the first one, are scheduled to release very soon. They still need a lot of editing.
Still need a lot of editing. Who does the
Yeah.
editing? Do you? Does your mom? Does your dad? Do you have it?
I start off by doing a few rounds of editing, and then I hand it over to someone else to edit, because I can't edit myself. I am really not good at editing, honestly. I will sit down and I will start reading it, and I will forget that I'm editing and instead just read my story and be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and completely skip over everything.
All right. So do you have a favorite book that you've written so far? I know frequently authors will say, oh, my books are like my children. I can't have a favorite. Do you have a favorite?
Probably. Currently, the one I'm working on right now, which I don't have a printed copy of, is
Okay.
one I actually would want to reread. It's called Never Dying. I'm thinking of writing a sequel for it. And that one is very much like probably gonna become my favorite. Currently, as for printed or published books, my favorite is this one. You won't know her name. This is my most popular book. I didn't expect it to be popular. I just kind of published it as this another book. Like I just wanted to publish it for myself, and it kind of blew up, and now it's my most popular book. Now I have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. It's my most annoying child. I love it.
Now, are any of these books, do you take life experiences to draw from for any of these books? Like you mentioned, most annoying child. Do you have a friend or someone that we probably don't want to name that inspired you in that way?
Yes. For this book, this entire book is based on a true story. It's a very sad book. It's a very disturbing book. It's based on how my sister and I were bullied in the 6th grade. Actually, pretty much just a straight up retelling of it, just with no names. It's a very, I want to say it's a very interesting book. Honestly, it's not that disturbing after the first 65 pages. Then it gets to kind of the aftermath of everything, and then like how the character's healing. The first 65 pages are some of the most disturbing words I've ever written. However, I kind of have a like free pass out of people getting worried about it, because I'm like, oh yeah, it's just based on a true story. I didn't come up with this stuff. Someone else did. She already came up with it for me. And that usually gets me out of the, why did you write this at 13?
Okay. So what do your parents and your siblings, or friends maybe even, what do other people think of this career that you've already got as an author?
They're all very surprised. Honestly, I was a little surprised too. Specifically with By Luck, I didn't expect to publish it. I didn't expect to finish it. On all of these books, I didn't expect to actually happen. So I'd say my parents are very surprised, but they're very supportive. And I usually don't actually let them read my books early. So they'll ask, they're like, when can we read it? I'm like, when it's published. However, I do sometimes give them chapters to read in advance. However, I mostly choose my chapters in like what the last chapter is based on when a massive cliffhanger happens or a big plot twist happens, and then their free trial ends. They have to wait to find out what happened till the book is published.
Their free trial ends. I love it.
Yeah. And then my sister is a really big fan of my books too. I think she's read most of them. And yeah, I try to give her copies of them. I'm very disorganized, so I'll leave copies of my books all around the house, and it's like a scavenger hunt when I need them for interviews and stuff. But I usually try to keep a copy of one of my books for each of my family members to give, or often when the book is not published, I'll order like 2 or 3 just to hand out. And yeah.
Wow. Okay. So do you want to be an author when you grow up? Is this
100%? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about do you or do your parents, what about grades and schoolwork? I mean, being an author isn't something that takes 5 minutes. Do you have to okay, I have to get my schoolwork done before I spend an hour writing on this book? Or do you manage that? Do your parents have to help you? What's the deal there?
So usually I'm pretty good about managing my schoolwork. At my current school, I don't have that much. So right now it's kind of like I'll write and then do my work. And usually the work won't take up like too much time. Sometimes I'll have to go to office hours to complete it, or sometimes I'll just have to ask my teacher. Actually, right now I'm kind of struggling with keeping up writing and schoolwork. I just had COVID and I was out all week, and I've just got back yesterday, and it's so chaotic trying to get back. I thankfully I was able to do some of my schoolwork, so it's not terrible, but just catching up everything and being used to doing school has just been like insane.
I bet. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing okay after COVID here. Now, here's a question. Your grade in reading or English? What do you get in that subject?
Usually very high marks.
Okay.
It's like the only reason my grade would drop is if I like forgot to turn something in or I was absent and missed something. Generally, I do really well. I'm trying to think about my English tests. Usually I get like 100% on them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And in terms of reading, I've mostly scored. I think I've scored like really. I don't remember my math test score. It was above average a little.
That's all right.
Yeah, I feel like I could do better in it though.
Oh, well, that's a good. It's good to have goals, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're not doing schoolwork and not writing, are you writing for the school newspaper? Are you playing volleyball? What do you do for fun?
I actually used to write for my school's newspaper years ago, and actually I'm 4th grade. Now usually I was about to say I read, but I feel like that's very obvious that I'd be reading when I was not writing. I gotta broaden my horizons a little. Often I do just play with my cats, like a lot. I don't know if you can see, there is one in the corner and there is another one in here, but I don't know where he is.
How many do you have?
They're sneaky. We have 3 cats. 2 of them are in this room with me right now. I have one, he's just like right next to me, and the other one is very high up on that shelf. And we have a 3rd cat. She actually is very, very old and does not do well with these 2 because they are very chaotic and they're just very stressful to be around for a very old cat. So she actually lives up in my parents' room permanently, but she comes down sometimes, and she has the balcony to herself. So she pretty much runs the place.
And do any of the cats, have they inspired any stories, any books?
Yes. Back in elementary school, actually, all of the little books and stories I would write had a cat in them, and it was usually one of my cats. I could not write without putting my cat in it. I don't know why, I just couldn't. Or if I couldn't think of a main character, I would just make myself the main character. So I've like found a bunch of these really, really kind of good and like with really good plots, these good stories. However, I am the main character in every single one, and it's really painful to read because I have every single power imaginable, and I have a talking cat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the cat always gets to talk.
All right. So you're reading. What about like Roblox or Minecraft? Do you do any of that stuff?
Yes, I do play Minecraft with my sister a lot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. All right. Well, if folks want to find your books or learn more about you, I know you have a website. Tell us where they can buy your books and find out more.
So all of my books are available on Amazon.com. If you want to get the links to them, actually, I have to update my website. My website, like the website I edit my website on was being weird, so I haven't been able to update it in a while. But my website is shantihershenson.com, ShantiHershenson.com. Most of my books are available on other retailers if you don't really like Amazon. You can find the hardcovers for You Own Her Name and another book, The Accidental Insurgent, on Barnes & Noble. And if you look on your local bookstore's website, they should have it. I cannot guarantee in person. There are a few bookstores actually that have these in person now. But if you look on their website, there's a chance you can order them into your store.
Awesome. Wow. Well, you seem to have it all together here. You're an author and you're doing well in school. It sounds like I need to get my act together here. I don't know, but very impressive. Congratulations on the work so far. And we'll pay attention to the upcoming books, and maybe we'll catch up with you again down the road and see how things are going.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good news, Ken. LaCudra Edwards buying a lottery ticket from a vending machine at Vaughn's Supermarket in Tarzana, California. When she says some rude person bumped into her and she pushed the wrong button on the lottery vending machine. She wound up with a $30 scratcher's ticket that she didn't want to buy. Now, the person didn't say a word as they left the supermarket, the guy who bumped her. Later, Edwards was driving on the freeway when she realized the unwanted ticket was a winner, a $10 million winner.
Oh, my gosh.
Says she nearly crashed her car, and she now plans to buy a house and start a nonprofit.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
What if she tracked that guy down and said, nanny, nanny, boo, boo?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, definitely, at least for her, some good news.
Oh no, not a dad joke.
I'm reading a book about anti-gravity.
Oh, yeah? How is it?
It's impossible to put down.
That joke was horrible.
Ken, we're coming to the end of episode 86 here, and we talked about Dingus Day with Jen Brasovich from Destination Cleveland. So I decided to call up the requirements or the form in case you know anybody, any young ladies who might want to apply to be Miss Dingus Day 2022.
I have a host of people, so this is great. Thank you.
I'll just run through the requirements here. You need your name, phone number, email, age, nationality, obviously.
Wow,
current
nice.
Cleveland neighborhood, current city or Cleveland neighborhood. And then, how do we know you are Polish? I guess they don't take your word for it. I don't know.
No, maybe they're doing
Have you
blood
applied
tests.
to be queen before? If so, when? What is your favorite polka song and why? Ken, do you have a favorite polka song?
Who stole the Kishka?
And why?
Because Baja told her.
Okay. Where do you go to polka and how often?
Anywhere, usually in my house. And sometimes I poke it to the bathroom.
Okay.
So,
tell us about your pierogi making skills.
me, myself, not existent. I'm very good at eating them, not just preparing.
Besides making pierogies, what are your other Polish cooking specialties?
Oh, pigs in a blanket would be good. Czaninia, which is duck blood soup. So those would be in the mix.
Tell us about any special Polish holiday traditions from your family.
Kielbasa, lamb butter, and I would probably say egg decorating. That's a big one too.
What does your favorite babushka look like? Tell us a story about it.
That's sort of private, so I'm not really going to talk about my babushka right now. But maybe if someone really wants to learn about it, they could send me a direct message. But we're not going to talk about my babushka. Thank you.
Do you have any special talents we can exploit for the good of Polish pride? Of course. Private as well.
Yeah, fake names, I guess. I'm good at fake names, but that's not really a Polish thing. So.
Okay. Why should we pick you, and what will you do throughout the year as queen to spread polka cheer and Polish pride.
I will make everyone's last name a Polish name.
What would
So-
my last name, Polish last name be?
Klapinski.
Klapinski. Got it. Okay.
Klapinski. Yep.
All right. Then you got to upload a picture of yourself.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that. No one
Yeah.
wants that. I definitely wouldn't win.
You consent, and by submitting the application, you pledge to be available for appearances as the Dingus Day Queen when requested to do so, including but not limited to festivals, TV morning shows, and parades throughout the year.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's a pretty good commitment, man.
I do hereby agree to be available throughout the year to attend Dingus Day functions and exude the sweetness and cheeriness that only a Dingus Day Queen can. I will also wear with pride the Miss Dingus Day prestigious sausage crown and sash whenever in public.
I like this.
Yeah. I get
So that
some-
means if I go to St. Bernadette's for mass,
yes, you have to
I
wear
have to
it.
wear the crown and the sausage
Yeah.
sash. Okay.
What do you think Father Rocco would think of that?
Not very well. So might not be invited to come back.
Oh boy.
Please pray somewhere else. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, so if you know anybody, that's clevelanddingus.com is the website for that.
Looking
Cleveland
forward to that.
Dingus. How many times can you say dingus in one podcast?
As much as you want. Dingus, dingus, dingus.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, Ted, fun times. Once again, thanks to all our listeners. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to be one of the top 20 podcasts in Cleveland. And we look forward to giving you more craziness and goofiness in 2 weeks. But
Okay.
one last thing I want to bring up.
Oh, yes.
Just want to remind everyone, we're just two middle-aged men in Cleveland.
Two Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland is sponsored by Westminster AV, custom audio-visual packages for all occasions.
Who stole the Kishka? Who stole the Kishka? Who stole the Kishka? Someone call the cops.